Trevor's our oldest. He was a bright, smart little boy, just happy.
He could talk real early.
Yeah, and he was very talkative to me all the time.
He's like we would call him our little professor.
I remember when he was a teenager and I knew something was wrong, he would never tell me what it was. And one time we were in his bedroom and he was sitting against his bed and I kept saying, tell me, I know something is wrong. Tell me what is wrong. And all he would do was sit there with tears rolling down his face, and he would not tell me. He sent us a letter. And he explained to us that he was gay in this letter, and it was very long, and he told us exactly how he felt and how he wanted to have conversations about this. And I didn't even remember that part until I looked back later and realized he really was open to talk about it, but I didn't know how to talk about it very well.
It was kind of difficult because he wasn't there with us, to really have that dialogue. We do need to say that while it was a complete shock and a surprise and kind of a punch in the gut, there was never any question or doubt that we still loved him and accepted him.
Yeah.
That was, and I when I hear the stories of parents who reject their children
or kick them out, or we were not those kind of parents at all.
We can't fathom that. So we loved him and we wanted to help him in any way possible, but we didn't fully get what it meant. We went to visit him in China, believe it or not. He was working in China, and we took. It was like a 2.5-week trip to tour, and we did some big treks in the mountains and
really long treks. We had a lot of time to talk.
So a lot of time to talk, and there he poured out his heart, and we really shared back and forth. He said, "Look, this is who I am. This is not going to change, and what's more, I will probably someday want to be married and have a husband." Part of the conflict was. And I have to confess and be honest here that I was not favorably disposed to gay people growing up.
I've done a 180 on this issue.
Hearing my son, who I knew was a good young man who was faithful in every way to his church and to everything that we taught, made me realize that what I believed or thought I knew about being gay was really wrong.
Well, I hate to admit, I just didn't want to talk about it at all. I didn't want to have to deal with it. I didn't want to have to go there. I knew so little about it, and like I told you, I did a total 180. But after the China experience, I realized I had to learn about it. I needed to know about it, and I needed to learn how to talk to him about it. And he was great. He would say, "Mom, it doesn't matter what we talk about. Just ask questions. Just talk about anything about it." And so he sort of helped me along.
Even though we didn't have big conversations, we went from being homophobic and having incorrect understanding and attitudes to at least that part of us change.
Yeah.
And that was very important, because little did we know we had another son who was gay and would not tell us until 7 years later, after Trevor came out.
To the family, when Trevor told his extended family.
That change in us and in the way we now talked about gay people and how we understood the situation and the empathy we now had, I'm certain had provided a much better atmosphere for our young son who was growing up and just learning that he too was gay. So we're kind of going back a little bit. The year prior, 2011, Trevor's back,
was a big year.
And he realizes, he's now ready to go on with his life, and so he needs to be honest and open. And so he comes out to his siblings, and our twin son, Tanner, had just gotten back from his mission the month before and was back at BYU, and so
he was in a corner of the
TV screen on Skype. Yeah.
On Skype. A month later, we get a message on our computer, an email from him, and Trevor has read it, and he said, "Mom, go read the email from Tanner." He was kind of agitated. "You need to go read it." And he kept like, "No, I'll read it later. I need to do these things. No, I'll read it later. No, go read it right now." So I said, "Okay." So I go upstairs and I read it, and he had written us a note to say, "I'm like, Trevor, I've struggled with this too." And I thought Trevor might be happy he had company, but he was quite sad.
He was still following the Mormon path that, college, mission. When he gets back, maybe he could get married. That was even in his mind. And we recognize there's sort of an evolution to a lot of young gay people in the church. They think, well, maybe I can get married to someone of the opposite sex. And then they come back and realize, well, no, that's not fair to the other person or to me. I can be
Or they
celibate, I'll make this my cross to bear. But then after a while, they see their brothers and sisters falling in love and getting married, and their roommates and their friends.
They're pretty tormented.
Yeah, and that just the unfairness of it all, and realizing, does God really want me to be alone and to be celibate all my life? At least for my sons, they saw that, and that's not what they felt. In the Bible, one of the first verses that God is pronounced about saying about Adam after his creation is, "It is not good for man to be alone." We want the same thing for them. We would love for them to have the same kind of companionship. And
that
it's
growth
not how we thought it would be.
opportunity.
Back when we were raising them as young kids, we thought it would be husband and wife. Well, not everyone fits that mold, and we understand that, but they can still find the same love and companionship. The turning point was really when he just out and out told us that this is not going away, and that he had made a decision internally the way he wanted to live his life, and that he wanted the same thing that his mom and dad had, and the rest of his family were all aspiring to. And so we finally got that. The thinking is, okay, we can just keep this a family thing, not make big waves, and we can deal with this internally and be at peace. But I started getting feelings inside like, I can't just be silent.
We decided to come out as parents. And Bryce wrote a beautiful coming out letter that we put both of our names to. And that actually went out to a lot of people.
Yeah, we put it out on Facebook, and
so
it went out on someone's
ward
blog.
saw it, people in our family saw it.
It was kind of scary at first, especially
It
for
was scary.
Sarah.
I was having a nervous breakdown. So I imagine how gay people feel.
Which is kind of the next stage of our journey, which was, okay, we become public. Now, what can we do to really be constructive? And Trevor was really instrumental here, because he thought that there should be some sort of a support group or organization where gay Mormons could come to talk and be open, and just a safe space where they could be accepted and not worry about what people would think.
And he met Brian Hendrickson, who agreed to start a support group for gay members.
Right, and so Brian came and talked to us and asked if we would help, if we would be a host home. So from 3 years ago when we started that group, we've now got over 350 in our Facebook group. That's how we communicate online and communicate our events. And we meet once a month among 3 host families' homes along with us. We have some other great members of the church who have gotten involved in this effort and who are helping us.
And some don't have gay kids or family members. They just want to do it because they feel like it's right, and it's a good thing. And we've got some amazing allies. And
so we have probably 40 to 50 people that come every month to these events. We have an annual conference. We've done 3 conferences that are a pretty big deal, where we've had about 150 people, and we have keynote speakers and a panel discussion. And those are some of the most uplifting and powerful events that people just talk about how those are life-changing, because that's where some people have really just kind of felt the blinders fall from their eyes, whether gay or straight, being able to come to terms themselves with being gay, or family members who realize that, they need to make amends or reconcile,
Just didn't
so
understand
it's been a fantastic thing to be involved in this, and we have gained far more than we've ever given. I mean, primarily in terms of these people are our family.
Yeah,
the
they
people
really
that
are.
come to our home,
It's just like they're our
like
family, and we love them all dearly.
Yeah. So it's really up to sort of a grassroots membership to do this sort of thing, and it's happening around the country. I'm in touch with a lot of people who are trying to do similar things. So
it's like other people are being kind of inspired to help with this cause.
Yeah, this could snowball if someone is just brave enough to be public and to acknowledge that they have a gay family member. Then all the other parents who are silent and sort of afraid, maybe they'll be a little bit braver.
LGBT people, to me, are some of the bravest people I know.